All right, welcome to Super Easy Physics and Mathematics. Today we're going to look at the review Cambridge Checkpoint, Paper 2, April 2024. So let's dive in. Question 1. This question is about excretion. Look at the model of the human excretory system. So we have this part and the part labeled. So select from the list to complete this labeling. So this point here, this is the renal vein, then this is the kidney, then we have this urethra, then this is the ureter that connects the kidney to the bladder, and then finally we have the bladder where the urine is stored before being eliminated from the body. Okay, the diagram shows the excretory system of two healthy children. Describe one difference between excretory system of A and B. So all you just have to look, this question is testing your ability to observe. So if you look at this, we have 1, 2 ureter, but if you look at the B, 1, 2, 3. So you see that the difference is the number of the ureter. So you can say that the patient B has an extra ureter. Question 2. Look at the diagram of the model of atoms and ions. So if you look at A, this covalent bond between two atoms of, so A is a molecule of hydrogen, a covalent bond, so they are sharing one electron here. B is an atom of helium, and it has 2 protons and 2 neutrons. So you can see there. Then let's look at C. C is an ion of lithium and is positively charged. So a positively charged ion is called cation. Then if you look at D, D is an ion, but it is negatively charged, so it's an anion. Now let's answer the question. Which diagram is a model of a molecule? Molecule is a combination of atoms. So that is A. Then secondly, explain why diagram C is a model of positive ion. Use the idea about particle in the ion. So in this case, C has more proton than electron. You know, each proton has a positive charge while the electron has negative charge. So because the number of proton is more than the number of electron, that is why the charge on C is positive. Which diagram show a covalent bonding? That is A. Describe what is meant by ionic bond. Ionic bond is formed when the electrostatic attraction is formed by the electronic attractions between two ions. So, for example, you have this atom C and then atom D. This is positively charged and this is negatively charged. So, because of the charges on them, Based on the law of electrostatics, they will attract one another, and so that force of attraction can keep them together as a molecule. Okay, Pierre plays the violin, so he had the bowl and then the string. Pierre moves the bowl over the string vibrates and produces a sound. Describe what happened to the amplitude when the vibrations are large. So when the vibration, so what we are looking at now is the relationship between amplitude and then the vibration. So one thing you should know is that amplitude affects the loudness. So the amplitude increases because of large vibration. Large vibration is depicted by increase in amplitude. So it affects the loudness. The pitch of the sound varies when the string vibration vibrates more often. So what factor or what component of the string affect the pitch of the sound? And that has to do with the frequency. So which word describe the pitch of a sound? Frequency, which is the number of vibration per unit second. Question 4. The question is about tectonic plate. The diagram shows the process that causes tectonic plate to move. So you have two tectonic plates that are meeting at this point S. So molten magma in the mantle. So you can see the convectional current, the spill and the move of the mantle. So you can see this is an anti-clockwise movement, while this one is a clockwise movement. So clockwise movement will roll this closer, then anti-clockwise movement will roll this closer. So they are going to converge at this point here and build up a mountain. Okay, a physical feature will be formed here by the pulling and the folding. So name the process that causes the tectonic plate to move. Conventional current. So you see on this left hand side, clockwise current. Then on the right hand side, you can see anti-clockwise current. Describe what happened to the two tectonic plates at X. Now, at S is going to form folds. So at S, the two tectonic plates will fold to form mountain. And then it will also form a volcano, and it can cause volcanic eruption and earthquake. So vibration of the earth. Question 5. This is about density. The mass of the block is 840 grams. The volume of the block is 80 cm cube. Calculate the density of the block. So this is one of the easiest question. It's just substitution. All you need to know to solve this question is remembering the formula for density, which is mass divided by volume. So you substitute the values given to you. So the mass is 840 grams divided by the volume 880 cm cube. So if you divide that, we give 10.5 gram per cm cube. So put it there and then you write the unit. Question 6 is about the evidence for tectonic plate movement. Look at the diagram of a mid-ocean ridge in the sea floor. So you look at this diagram, and if you see the both of them, you see the movement. So you see now, key, reverse, that's white. If you see the white part, the white portion of the sea floor, you can see that, so you have the normal magnetic alignment, which is the gray portion, then while the white portion show reverse magnetic alignment. So now then you have the magma that is flowing here, then you have the plate boundary, then you have the mid-ocean ridge. So now explain how the diagram show evidence for tectonic plate movement. So the plate pushes against each other, creating convergence. So evidence for movement. So the convergence, that's what creates this ridge at this point here. Describe how the fossil records show evidence for tectonic plate movement. Now, rock of similar age are added to the plate in either side of the ridge. So you look at this, you look at this, then you look at the corresponding position. So then the pattern of alignment is similar on each side of the ridge. So if you look at the left-hand side and the right-hand side, you can see the alignment of the plates. Question 7. Priya investigate photosynthesis in pondweed. Look at the diagram of the assembled equipment. So you have the syringe, you have the test tube, then you have the weed inside with pond water. Then the diagram, then the light to test for how photosynthesis is affected by exposure to light. Then you have the meter rule to measure the distance of the light. So in her first experiment, she placed the lamp 5 cm from the test tube and measured the volume of gas in the syringe, the bubble of gas. Okay. Now Priya repeat the experiment. Each time she increased the distance of the lamp from the test tube. So she started with 5 cm, then she increased it to 10 cm, 15 cm, 20 cm, and 25 cm. But if you see the volume of gas collected, when it was 5 cm, it was 4 cm cube was collected. Then when she increased the distance to 10, 2 cm was collected. Then when she increased the distance to 15 cm, 1 cm was collected. So what do you observe here? As the distance of the light increases, the distance of the light source, the lamp, from the pond wind increases, the volume of gas release decreases. So the gas collected in the syringe comes from the pond wind. What is the name of the gas? The gas is oxygen. So if you look at your equation for photosynthesis, you know that water combine with carbon dioxide to produce glucose and oxygen. So the byproduct, the gas that is released during photosynthesis is oxygen. Now, plot the graph on this grid. So label the side. So you have the left-hand side. What was increased? So you have on this experiment, there are two things we call the dependent and independent variable. You see the distance was what she varied. As she increased the distance, then she measured the volume. So the volume produced is a function of the distance of the light from the conduit. So the distance is the independent variable, while the volume is the dependent variable. So that will be the physical here. So you have the distance and then you state the unit is measured in cm, then the volume collected measured in cm cube. So let's plot That for the first one, when the distance was 5 cm, 4 cm cube of gas was collected. Then when it was 10, 2 cm cube of gas was collected. When the distance was moved to 15, 1 cm cube of gas was collected. Then when it was moved to 20, 0.5 cm cube of gas was collected. And then finally, when it was moved to 25 cm. So after plotting that, you can draw a straight line. So you see it's a curve. So you trace that. So with that, you have your 3 points. Now, describe the relationship between the distance from the lamp and the volume of gas collected. So you can see as the distance increases, the volume decreases. Or you can put it in the other way around too. So as the distance increases, the volume of gas collected reduces or decreases. All right, so now, why do plants need magnesium? Yeah, plants use magnesium to make chlorophyll. So the question is about the interaction of sound wave. So look at the diagram of waveform A. So waveform A, what's the amplitude here? 2. And the amplitude here, so the amplitude is 2, which is the maximum displacement from the equilibrium point. So if you count 1, 2. So this is a loud sound, but this one is more quiet. So the amplitude for B is 1. Now, waveform B and waveform C interact to form A. So this is the product. So what will you combine with one amplitude to produce two amplitudes? So that is 1. So waveform A plus waveform C. So the waveform C is, we are looking for a wave that you need to combine with B to produce this A. So that means A is 2 amplitude, then B is 1. So that means we need another 1. Okay. And because the constructive wave combination, so both of them have to be in phase. So rising, corresponding, so that it can amplify or build up to create this waveform A. Then waveform D and waveform E interact to produce waveform F. So if you look at this, like in question A, both of them were moving together. But if you look at this, as waveform D is dropping, waveform E is rising. So you can see that the peak and the crest coincide together. So these two wave effects are going to cancel out. So if you do that, so it's going to produce wave cancellation. And so the wave is annihilated. And then describe how the loudness of sound wave F differ from the loudness of waveform D. So there's going to be no sound because it has cancelled out. There's no wave here. Let's look at question 9. The question is about extinction and conservation. The last West African black rhinos died in 2011. Hunting and habitat loss were blamed for the disappearance of the rhinoceros. So tick the box that best describe the effect of both hunting and habitat loss on the rhinos. So 1, you have deforestation. This habitat loss has already been mentioned. So you have environmental change, then you have inheritance, you have natural selection, and variation. So it's not deforestation that causes it. So environmental change is a major reason for the disappearance of extinction of the rhino. Inheritance, no. Natural selection, no. Variation, no. So the point that need to be taken here, what is major thing responsible is environmental change. Now, scientists try to prevent extinction of species by using conservation. Okay, the diagram below show the percentage of endangered species given conservation in 3 animal groups. So you have mammal, bird, and corals. So you can see low preservation, that is the black, medium preservation, we have the gray, then the dotted line, high preservation. So which of these animals? The mammals, so they have more of medium preservation. And then if you look at the bird, so they have low preservation. Birds can easily die. The percentage of endangered species given conservation. So then you have the percentage of then the corals. So let's carry out this analysis if you look at this diagram quickly. So for the bird, so you can see like 45 birds have what? Low preservation. Then, so which animal has the greatest level of medium preservation? So that is the mammals. Now, the endangered species of coral and bird both get the same level of high preservation, suggests why endangered species of coral are more likely to become extinct than the endangered species of bird. Use the formation in chart. So when you compare it, you know that what 65 corals were more likely to die out of every 100 corals, compared to 43 birds which are more likely to die out of every 100 birds. So because of this, so you see that the the number of birds that will die is less than the number of corals that will die out of every 100, which is shown on the diagram given to us. So comparison, so you just be able to get this answer. Now the question 10 is about the resistance of a wire. The current through the lamp is 5 ampere. The voltage across the lamp is 2.5. Calculate the resistance of the lamp. So you use Ohm's law. Resistance is voltage over current. So you substitute 2.5, 2.7 volts divided by 5 ampere. So that will give 0.54 ohms. So the unit of resistance is ohm. Question 11. Shen investigates a displacement reaction. So he assembled the equipment as shown in the diagram. You have the conical flask. Then inside the conical flask, he pours his copper surface solution, which is blue. And then with a thread, he's holding iron powder. So you want to pour iron powder. So the point here is what? You have iron metal and copper metal. So you want to know your activity series, which one is higher in the activity series. Okay. Now measure the mass. Shen measure the mass of the equipment. Okay. Tip the equipment so that iron powder mixes and reacts with copper surface solution. Then measure the mass of the equipment after the reaction is finished. Okay. So describe how the total mass before mixing compare with the total mass after mixing. Now, as far as the reaction is taking place and nothing is escaping, you know that the mass will remain the same. So this is the principle of the law of conservation of mass in reaction. Due chemical reaction, no product escape. So the mass of the reactant and the product must be equal. Explain. The mass cannot be created or destroyed during chemical reaction. So that's the law of conservation of mass. Now write the word equation for this reaction. So you have iron in the test tube to react with copper sulfate in the conical flask. So what is going to happen? Iron is going to displace copper to form iron sulfate, and then copper is displaced because iron is higher than copper in the activity series. Question 12. Look at this graph. The graph shows the prediction about how the sea level will vary from its value in the year 2000. So from 2000 to 2300. So let's look at it. So you can see that the sea level is rising. From 2000, it rose to 400 cm. So as the year increases, so you can see that the sea level is rising. So just one reason for the trend in the sea level graph that is shown here. So the major reason is increase in carbon dioxide in the earth, but there are other reasons responsible for rise in sea level. So let's look at some other reasons. So possible causes of rising sea level. So you have the global factors, which is increase in carbon dioxide in the air, which is one of these factors I've given. It's just one of them that you need as the answer, but we just want to review causes of sea level rise. So the other one, you have increasing temperature of the earth, global warming. You have melting of ice cap and glaciers. Then you have sea ice melt. So these are the global factors. So now let's look at local factor in the land. So we see tidal amplification, we have land subsidence, then we have ocean current, then we have glacial adjustment, then we have coastal erosion. So each of these are factors that can be responsible for rise in sea level. Then you have storm surge. So when all these factors interact, it can contribute to increase in sea level. Now let's look at question B. Suggest one impact of the trend of the sea level rise in the graph. What is the impact? When the sea level rises in a particular location, what will be the consequence on the habitat and the ecological system? So let's look at the consequence briefly. So one of them is loss of habitat. For example, for highland uh, communities. So if you are on a highland community, for example, okay, let me see if I can give you a pictorial representation of this. So for example, you have somebody that is staying, okay, let's say this is a settlement. So let's see. I just want to give you this idea. Let's see. Okay. And then this is the sea level. All right. So if this is the sea level, so you have the sea here. Cool. So if you have this, on this place. Okay, so and then you have a building here. So this is Johnson's house. But what is going to happen? So let's assume that the sea level rises and then it rises to this point. Wow. Oh, so what's happened? This area is flooded. So this area is flooded. So the occupant of this house, what's going to happen to Johnson's family? Of course, they can no longer stay in this location. So they lost their habitat. So this is just one of the consequences of sea level rise. But there are other consequences, okay? So let's look at those other consequences that we have here. So let's see. Quickly, we have impact of sea level rise. One, loss of habitats. Then you have which it cause coastal erosion, saltwater intrusion, island submergence. So then the other second one is endangered and extinct of species. For example, all the animals that are living near Mr. Johnson, living near the Johnson's house, automatically will be killed by this flood rise. So it will lead to extinct of species. And so like example, polar bear, coral reef, and mangrove, all of them will die. Okay, this is for animal, then plants. So we can look at the major uh, species that will be affected, especially those ones that stays on the river sides. So we have aquatic species. So then the third one is displacement of human population. So like this diagram I drew here concerning the Johnson family that stay on an island. So coastal flooding and then island nation. People in the island nation are displaced. All right, so let's go to the next question. Question 13. You need to use periodic table, okay? It's on page 12, 20 of the question paper. That is the last page of the question paper to answer. So it's an insert in this question. So look at the table about some group 1 elements. So you have lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium. Then you have here the boiling point. Write down the name of one group one element. So from your periodic table, this is one of the easiest question. So what they are trying to test, do you know how to identify the groups in the periodic table? So what is the group? The group in periodic table, those are the vertical. So when you talk about the group, you talk about the vertical column on the periodic table. So you have this group 1. Then finally we have this other one here, the group A, the inert. Then you now have the, so let's see, these are the periods, which is the horizontal ones. So you have periods, okay. And then on the periodic table, so you have group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6, group 7, then you have the 8. So the periodic table. So these ones are called, this is the group. So this is the group 1 element. So on your periodic table, you see. So let's just bring out. So you have the group 1, you have lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, calcium, and francium. So name one other element. So the one that's not here is these two here, atomic number 55 and 87. So calcium and francium. So any one of them can be there. So that is the answer. So it's a direct question. Then the next one is predict the boiling point of lithium. Okay, if you look at this, from rubidium coming up, you can see that this is rubidium is 686 degrees Celsius, then potassium 760, then sodium 830. So you can see that the boiling point is increasing, but the boiling point is decreasing down the group. So that means based on this trend, you cannot predict. So what will be the value? So once you know the difference, so look at the difference. If you calculate the difference, subtract this from this, your value, then next subtract 760 from 883. Then whatever you have, add it to 883 will give you the prediction. So anything above 950 to 1000 is correct. Now, oxygen is an element in group 6. Okay. Oxygen has a melting point of negative 218 degrees Celsius and a boiling point of negative 183 degrees Celsius. What type of structure does oxygen have? It's a simple structure. Oxygen molecule is a simple covalent molecule compound. Question 14. Anastasia, describe an electrical circuit she makes. Her circuit contains a battery, a switch, one lamp, a fixed resistor, and some wires. Anastasia says that when I add another lamp to my circuit, the brightness of the bulb decreases. So in the circuit where the brightness decreases, that means she has constructed connected all the components in series. Okay, so use the diagram about type of circuit and then the current in the circuit. So what happened? Anastasia have connected her circuit in series, and that means she added them like a bead. And then by so doing, increasing the number of bulbs, that is why you are increasing the resistance. And when you increase the resistance, the current flowing through the circuit will decrease. So now draw the standard symbol for fixed resistor. So this is a fixed resistor, but let's just revise the symbol. So what symbol is this? A circle with capital A inside. What symbol is this? A circle with a capital V. Then a circle with a cross on it. So the first one, I don't know if your guess is correct. So we have a resistor, ammeter, voltmeter, and finally you have, yes, what is your guess? This is the lamp. I hope you got it. All right, let's continue. Okay, question 15. We are very close to the end of this paper. This question is about nebulas. Very good. Lily writes statement about how stars are formed from nebulae. Okay, so if you look at the procedure, so actually this is the formation. So you have what? A, B, C, D, E. So it has been reordered. Now put the statement in correct order. So one has been taken. So what? Large cloud of dust and gas collapse. Okay. So but before you get to that point, so what is the first one? Gravity bring cloud of dust and gas together. So C, that is the first one. Then after that, then you have the cloud of dust and gas increase in size because of gravity. Okay, then you have the third one, large cloud of dust and gas collapse. Then finally, what's going to happen? Then you have collapsed material at the center of the cloud of dust and heat up. So temperature increases. And then finally, you have the last option there, which is B. The core of a star is formed. So now circle the word used to describe nebula that form star. So that is nursery. Very good. Question 16. Amel investigate the cooling of water. In his first experiment, he poured some water into a beaker. He measured the initial temperature of the water. He measured the temperature of the water after 5 minutes. Amel repeat the experiment using different beaker. Okay. Now, the thermometer diagram shows the final temperature of the water. Okay. So if you look at it, write the final temperature to the nearest 0.5 degrees Celsius on the table of the results. So you have, this is the starting point of the water in beaker 1. So the starting point, you have 36 degrees Celsius. So then let's record the final point here. So the final point, that is 28.5 degrees Celsius. So you can see that the temperature has dropped. So to get the difference, you subtract this from that. Subtract 28.5 from 36. That will give you the temperature drop. So then the one in beaker 2, that is okay. Now let's look at the beaker 2. The initial temperature for beaker 2. So in beaker 2, the initial temperature, that is this. So we are looking at this one, the beaker 2. The initial temperature is 22.5. And Amel put the thermometer and then observe the cooling. So what is the final? So let's read the value there. That is 21 degrees Celsius. So what do you notice? A drop. So subtract 21 from 22.5. So that will give, so the temperature, the final temperature is lower. That is why it is negative. Whether you put negative or positive, you see be marked correctly. Okay. Calculate the temperature drop in both beaker. Write your answer in the table of the result, this table here. So we've already done that. Now, this is the concept behind this experiment. Dark colored object radiates thermal energy more efficiently than light colored object. Amel write hypothesis using this information. So painting the outside of the beaker of water with a darker color will speed up the heat loss from the water. Why will this happen? Because dark color objects radiate more thermal energy. So if you paint your beaker, so if you have this beaker, okay, and then finally we decide to paint the beaker. So let's paint it with black. We'll paint it with black. Okay, so let's paint this with black. If you do this, so we paint it with black. So what is going to be the effect? So on that beaker, then we put our water into the beaker, hot water here. Put your hot water inside the beaker. Okay, very good. So what is going to happen? Because you have paint the beaker black, based on this hypothesis here, dark object, so this is the sentence to guide your reasoning. Dark object radiate thermal energy. So the energy that will be lost, the energy transfer across the wall of the beaker is going to be faster. So, and if the hot water loses energy faster, then the temperature will drop quickly. So that is the point that is being made here. So with this, we have come to the end of this paper observation. I'm wishing you good luck as you prepare for your checkpoint examination. So the next page table. So that brings us to the end of this paper. Subscribe to Super Easy Physics and Mathematics for more. Love, share, and comment on the video. Thanks.